I think that's the question you asked him, I believe, about Ausar Thompson, kind of wanting to have the ball more in his hands. What did you kind of take with that? Because I've seen a lot of fans kind of have like discussion saying, "Oh, is Ausar the backup point guard now?" Like, what did he mean of Ausar kind of having the ball in his hands a little bit more?
Yeah, they just want him to be a little bit more aggressive and active. They see how explosive he can be. A big point of emphasis on offense for the Pistons is running in transition. So we saw a lot last year. He was leading a lot of breaks for the Pistons, and even after Ivey got hurt, Ausar was the one who's stepping in and bringing the ball up the court because there were games where Cade was getting blitzed in the second half at half court. He couldn't even cross without two defenders in his face or coming off a screen with two guys or three guys, trapping him. So being able to lean on Ausar in half court sets, knowing he's a really good passer, has good vision, needs to tighten up on his handle, which apparently he's been working hard on. And he's been really putting on a lot of muscle as well too. So it's a lot of excitement and anticipation to see that. And again, going back to the transition scoring, he's one of those guys that's capable of leading those breaks. Again, we've heard JB and JD Jalen Duren talk about just being able to take the ball off the glass and just go instead of looking for who's going to be it. They have enough versatility with their ball handlers that they don't just have to look for Cade every time to be the guy. You just get up the floor, run your lane, and find the easiest bucket. They got enough speed to make that happen. They're all super tall. Like you talked about being able to run lineups that are of guys that are 6'7" and up, whether like Cade, Ausar, Ron Holland, Tobias, and Jalen Duren coming at you full speed. Like that is a nightmare transition to deal with. So he's keeping his eye open about different things that can work. I think it may look a little clunky to start off the season. I don't think this is going to be like just a perfect flowing, execution of having all these guys. But I think they're in a position where they can at least try stuff early and then kind of establish what goes on towards the end of the season. And I think it still will contribute to winning basketball, of course.
When I heard it, like you see Pistons fans like, "Oh, Ausar's going to be our backup point guard."
Right.
I heard it, and I'm like, that's not what he was really saying. Like,
Right.
I think when you guys asked him last year about wanting to play non-shooters, he's like, "Well, if we make stops, it doesn't really matter.
Right.
If we're making defensive stops." And I think that's what JB was like trying to say. Like, if we make a stop, pass the ball to Ausar because he's the fastest one on the court. To push transition. Him and Jaden Ivey, I feel like you're probably going to pass the ball to them in the open court together. And that really excites me, having those two healthy together, because we never really got to see that last year. Both of them in transition, just leading the fast break.
And that was another question I asked him too, was that we didn't really get to see the dynamic of you two on the floor together. How do you envision that? He said, Jaden Ivey is one of the fastest people I've ever seen in my life. He said, I also think I'm one of the fastest guys in the world, but having that dynamic of, both of us, causing havoc against defenders, it can be a problem. And I totally agree with him. I also think it kind of opens up things for a guy like Marcus Sasser as well, somebody who kind of gets lost in a lot of these conversations. He's capable of bringing the ball up and orchestrating, but that's not his strong suit. So now if you have somebody that's playing next to him, like Ausar, who could maybe lead a bench unit, if Karras is leading the bench unit, you can have, Marcus Sasser, basically running a lane and spotting up as a shooter instead of just bringing the ball and trying to fend for himself. He can play off ball, play catch and shoot ball if he needs to, and that adds a different dynamic to the offense and the value that he can bring. Being an undersized guard, he needs to bring and find all the value that he can possible. So again, I like the versatility that they have. While it can take some time because they're young, I don't think it's going to be like clunky and weird. It's not going to be like a weird transition, like an Andre Drummond when he started shooting threes out of nowhere. I feel like these guys have had enough experience with kind of what JB's maybe looking for this season. So I think it may take some time, but I do think it'll, be successful and will look, somewhat formidable as the season goes on.
Yeah, I mean, just those two in transition, I think it's going to be a nightmare. Yeah. But to have multiple ball handlers, I think, is actually crucial because, I mean, you saw the way Cade was getting blitzed in the playoffs. Man. Having different just people bringing the ball up the court, and Cade can play off ball more, or Jaden Ivey can play off ball more, or Sark can just, hey, I'm just going to score. Like, you can't stop me. I'm going to jump higher than you. Right. I think kind of like how we started the show with versatility. I think that's what they were trying to go for this offseason, of just having multiple people do multiple things. And I know JB has talked about not putting people in a box or players in a box, but that's just kind of like my opinion and my vantage point of the outsider trying to look in, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, again, you want to work on the things that are suitable for them. Like, people have talked about a lot of things that didn't really make a lot of sense in terms of them, in terms of the roster being more versatile. Like Cade is not going to become the 3 for this team. Like, that's just not going to happen. But would it make sense in certain sets for Ausar to bring the ball up and you post Cade Cunningham up against a smaller defender? Like, yeah, like those are the kind of areas that you can take advantage of. And I think JB just kind of has a better idea now with what he was looking for. Like, he's now able to check some things off. For the past few seasons, the Pistons have been trying to figure things out. Who fits where, what rotations work, like what are the best things that these guys work at. And now they've trimmed off guys, like Wiseman or Marvin Bagley, Isaiah Livers, Killian Hayes. Knowing those guys weren't fitting and you found some guys that were working as your core, you can now fill in other guys in the rotation to help them. And now that he has that established, knowing they can play winning basketball the way they did last season, now you can experiment a little bit to kind of make yourself unpredictable. And I think that's what he's trying to go for.